welcome to Tan's Two Cents, where we explore GovCon topics from all angles. I'm your host, Tan Wilson, and this is the first episode in our Quick Wisdoms with Tan series on professional development. Today, I want to discuss a topic that is as controversial as empowering, breaking the rules on purpose. This is especially important to me as I'm often asked my professional opinion on various processes and methodologies to being successful in the GovCon industry. And those who know me or have seen my other webinars or podcasts know that I often respond with, it depends. I'm not trying to weasel out of an answer, but it really does sometimes depend. And while I can joke and use self-deprecating humor in many of my responses, I never underestimate the power and the influence that my words or my opinions might have on someone who's new to the GovCon industry. So this was the main motivation for starting my Tan's Two Cents podcast. As I said before, there's no lack of informative podcast webinars, either free or paid training in the GovCon industry. We all play our role and we all have our target audience. My small role is to take bits and pieces of GovCon topics and really dissect them to fully explain the why is this important. While others may focus on the what and the how, I felt that it was imperative that the audience, my intellectual listeners, understand the why do we do or know what we know. This leads us to today's class discussion on breaking the rules on purpose. And in today's episode, we'll discover the delicate balance between following processes and knowing when it's time to break the rules or to change the process altogether. It's about recognizing the moments when sticking to the status quo is no longer beneficial and having the courage to chart a new path. So as John Maxwell wisely said, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Sometimes showing the way means redefining the rules. And this is so poignant in understanding when do we redefine the rules? When do we break the rules? And how do we set a new path? Some of the questions are easy to answer, while others will require some contemplation, research, deliberation, collaboration. Maybe you have to sleep on it. But while knowledge and book smarts will get you far, there's really no substitute for taking calculated risk and trial and error. And at the root of this is bravery and having the confidence to try and be open to the potential failures in our path. So let's talk about understanding the purpose of processes. Processes are designed to create consistency, efficiency, and predictability. They help organizations and individuals operate smoothly and achieve their goals. However, there's a fine line between following a process for its intended purpose and adhering to it blindly. We risk stifling innovation and growth when we follow processes without questioning their relevance. Innovation thrives in environments where questioning and challenging the status quo is encouraged. When we innovate, we not only improve, but often revolutionize existing systems. This is crucial in professional development as well as personal settings. Steve Jobs once remarked that innovation is the ability to see change as an opportunity, not a threat. This mindset is crucial when evaluating the effectiveness of existing processes. Look at how Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs approached the development of the first Apple computer. At the time, the tech industry followed rigid rules for hardware design. Instead of adhering to these standards, Wozniak and Jobs created a user-friendly personal computer that changed the landscape of the tech industry. Their willingness to break the rules resulted in creating a product that revolutionized computing and made technology accessible to the masses. Similarly, in GovCon, we follow the Shipley method for business development, capture management, and proposal development. Many of us, including myself, are Shipley trained, and it's become the gold standard for an organization or professionals who are experts in the GovCon field. However, this methodology is not meant to be followed blindly or without consideration for the timelines or complexity of the opportunity. Experienced professionals will know which steps to modify or to alter to obtain the desired outcome. So for example, each time I speak about how to make a bid decision, I always emphasize the need to define the desired outcome for each milestone review clearly, create a repeatable process, and assign the necessary stakeholders to each review. I don't fixate on the name, what to call it, or the color of the review, but rather the desired outcome and the next steps. This brings us to recognizing when to break the rules, which requires a keen sense of awareness and courage. It's not about being rebellious for the sake of it, but it's about understanding when the process is hindering progress. This could be due to outdated methods, changes in the market, or new opportunities that the current process doesn't accommodate. So, breaking the rule goes hand in hand with innovation. It's about seeing beyond the current limitations and envisioning new possibilities. This creative thinking leads to breakthroughs that can propel you and your organization forward. One of my favorite authors, yes, I know, I have one, despite not being an avid book reader, is Malcolm Gladwell. He has said that the visionary starts with a clean sheet of paper and reimagines the world. This reimagination often involves questioning and altering established processes. So consider the story of Ronald Reagan. Let's put our political opinions aside, who famously said that status quo, that's the Latin for the mess we're in. As the governor of California and later as the president of the United States, Reagan often challenged the existing policies and processes that he believed were outdated or ineffective. For example, his economic policies, known as Reaganomics, broke from traditional fiscal approaches and emphasized tax cuts, deregulation, and free market principles. While controversial, these changes significantly impacted the US economy and are still debated today. Now, in GovCon, the landscape is always changing. I've interviewed many guests who have seen and experienced how the GovCon industry has evolved. We've learned and course corrected through the years as the pendulum has swung from one extreme to another. And it's inevitable, but to survive, you need to be open to recognizing and embracing these changes. So once you've identified the need to break the rules, the next step is to implement change thoughtfully. This involves communicating the reasons for the change, gaining buy-in from your stakeholders, and ensuring that the new process aligns with the overarching goals. I've spoken many times about ensuring that our strategies align with our organizational goals, whether defining RBD or proposal bid strategies. Thoughtful implementation of change is where innovation truly shines. It's about not just having a great idea, but also ensuring that it can be effectively executed and adopted by those around you. This requires strategic planning and strong leadership. John Maxwell also said, change is inevitable. Growth is optional. It's up to us to choose growth by embracing and implementing the necessary changes. So let's think about companies that successfully pivoted during COVID-19 pandemic. Zoom's a prime example. Originally designed as a video conferencing tool for businesses, Zoom saw a massive increase in users as people began to work from home and seeking ways to stay personally connected and professionally. And recognizing this shift, Zoom quickly adapted its processes to accommodate an unprecedented number of users, scaling its infrastructure and enhancing its features to meet new demands. This ability to swiftly break from existing processes and innovate allowed Zoom to become a household name and a critical tool during the pandemic. To conclude, breaking the rules on purpose is about being strategic and intentional. It's about recognizing when a process is no longer serves its purpose and having the courage to understand and change it for the better. Innovation is at the heart of this process, constantly driving us to improve and evolve. Thanks again to our intellectuals for listening today, and I hope you enjoyed and found our first Quick Wisdom with Todd informative. Please join me in our next episode of our Quick Wisdoms with Todd series, where we'll explore another crucial aspect of personal development. But until then, keep questioning, Keep innovating and keep growing.